welcome to Vlogmas Day 19. Happy Monday. Even though it's not the weekend anymore, I'm wearing my Weekender by Andrea Mowry. It is not often that I feel the need for a worsted weight sweater in the house, but it is cold and windy out there. With the wind chill, it's minus 20 Celsius, which is minus 4 Fahrenheit. Any way you look at it, it is too damn cold. I've got laundry on the go, so you might be able to hear my washing machine in the background occasionally, and you also might hear the house rattling, creaking because of the wind. So let's open day 19 of my Fiber Nymph Dye Works yarn. Today's colorway is Focused. Well, I am going to need to be focused to get everything I want to get done today. Just seems like the story of my life these days. Okay, let's see what day 19 has to offer. It's hard for me to see it in the light. Oh, it's a very dark gray, like a charcoal gray. Coming up a little bit brighter on screen. In my terrible light, it's very, very dark gray. Even darker than it looks there. Yeah, a little bit darker. Anyway, that's a good contrast to a lot of those bright colors too. Ooh, not too many to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, December's flown by. All right, time for tea. I did not enjoy last night's tea because I opened it kind of late afternoon and drank it last night. It was the, I don't remember what it was called, but it had an orange flavor with some spices in it, and I thought I would really like it, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it the way I thought I was going to. But it was a nice caffeine-free tea that I could drink sort of late at night without worrying about it keeping me up. So I did do that. I see 19 is right next to 18 over here. Just looking out at the birds. The feeders have been busy with this cold weather, not surprisingly. Oh, today's tea is brown sugar bourbon. That's another one that I have sort of noticed on the back here with the ingredients, and wondering what it would be like, because those are the kinds of flavors I like too. It's a black tea, I see. Oh, and it smells exactly how you might think it would. That kind of warm caramelly flavor. Looks like it might have a bit of nuts or something, or maybe that's sugar. Oh, that may be like little bits of caramel or something. Let's find out. Has black tea, brown sugar, apple, roasted chicory root, brittle pieces. That might be those that has sugar and hazelnut, so maybe those are the bitter pieces. Artificial vanilla and caramel flavoring, pura tea, caramel pieces. Oh, there you go. It is caramel pieces. And anything else? Corn flour, blossom vanilla, and stevia extract. Well, I think this is going to be a good one. Yeah, I think I'm going to like this one. I'll tell you tomorrow. Well, I was delighted last night to finish my evergreen socks. They have not been blocked, but I thought I would slip them on the sock blocker so you could see how they look. When we were driving home yesterday, I did a few rows in the car on one of the socks, and I kind of looked at it and guesstimated that it might be the right length, so I stuck it on my foot. I have a sort of a certain spot on my foot at the base of my big toe, and that's how I guesstimate whether my socks are the right length. And they were exactly there, and then I counted the rows on that one and then counted the rows on the second sock, and it was only needing one more row till it was time for the toes. So I was able to start the toe of one sock on the way home yesterday, and then I finished them up last night when we came back home from dinner. So hooray, hooray, hooray. Aren't they nice? I'm just gonna bring them in for one more good look. I like how the heel looks with the stripes, and then kind of the little bull's eye on the toe. Yeah, so yay, those are done. So of course I had to cast on more socks because I finished them early enough in the evening that I couldn't just not knit some more before bed while I had the chance. So my first thought was, I've had this yarn in my stash, I think only about a year or so. It's from Leo and Roxy Yarn Company, and it is called Victorian Christmas. So I went and skeined that up, and while I was doing that, I was thinking about the colors in it, and I thought that some of these yarns from my Sweet Fiber Yarns holiday sock club would match nicely. So I'm looking at that. I think that green would look good, and I think that pinky color would look good. This green. So I am going to use some of these. I mean, I'm not going to use the purple with it, but I'm going to somehow incorporate at least some of these colors into the sock. But because I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, I didn't cast them on. Instead, I wound up some other yarn and cast that on, because that just makes sense, right? So I have had this, hang on, this yarn, I don't have the label, it's over there. Oh no, it's in here. I'm gonna be putting these in this, one of my wintry bags. This is yarn from Fiber Nymph Dye Works, and it's part of the Encore Yarn and Fiber Club that I participated in this year, and this was January's skein. And it's called Cuddle Time, for Cuddle Time tea that we got a little package of it with our shipment. And I've been really wanting to knit this yarn for like all year long. It just didn't fit into my other knitting plans. So what I've decided to do, because it was part of a tea-based club, I have cast on my cup of tea socks. Let me see who it's by. Robin Lynn. And I have knit this pair of socks before. You would have seen my pair earlier on in Vlogmas. I called them my New Year's Day or New Year's cup of tea socks, and I knit them out of some socks that rock lightweight. And so I see from my pattern notes that I actually adapted them back there and to knit a 56 stitch cast on, but I am doing these with the original 64 stitches that the pattern calls for. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, I'm just calling these my Cuddle Time cup of tea socks. Seems to make sense. So I have, thanks to some knitting last night and then again this morning, I've done the ribbing on one sock, and I've done the first 2 rows of the pattern. And very serendipitously, this most recent stripe, which is like the off-white, started that's the start of the pattern, and that is the end of the cuff. So the cuff has these 3 stripes, and just very nicely cooperated and started the next stripe right where the pattern starts. I had just planned to not try and manage the stripes, to just kind of just knit the sock the way it was written, but yeah, the yarn is cooperating, so it was a very logical place to start the pattern, but I didn't even have to. Now, what I found really interesting, the pattern is written for DPNs. Now, I use Magic Loop, but it's interesting because the pattern is, they started, the stitches begin at the center back of the sock. And so if you do knit it as described, the pattern that runs down the center of the sock, if I was to knit them on Magic Loop as it was sort of written for DPNs, I'd end up with splitting the center pattern between the 2 needles. So I've just, and then when it comes time to do the heel, you do work some extra stitches so that you rearrange your stitches to have these be your instep stitches and the others be your heel. So I've just gone ahead, now that I've finished the cuff, I've just distributed my stitches now so that the center stitch pattern will run down the front. And I guess I was talking about this stitch pattern, I guess I should. Oops, an alarm went off on my phone, which kicked off the recording, but in a way that's a good thing because it gave me a chance to find a photo of my cup of tea socks on Ravelry. I just have a black and white printed pattern and it doesn't show it very well. And of course, in the meantime, the furnace has come back on. I have a feeling that's going to happen a lot today. Anyway, here's what they look like. Just a very simple motif that runs down the front of each sock, and the rest is stockinette. I'm interested to see how that stitch pattern is going to play with the stripes in the yarn. I have a feeling it will distort them a little bit, maybe make them look a little bit ripply or something down the front. Anyway, yeah, I think they're going to be nice. I just had the itch to cast on another pair of patterned socks. I really enjoyed working on the evergreen socks, and I've sort of gotten into a habit of just knitting plain stockinette socks, which is okay. They're practical and they are the ones I tend to reach for the most. But yeah, I also enjoy breaking it up sometimes with a patterned sock. So plans for the day. Well, as I mentioned, it is laundry day here, so I have, I think, about 4 loads of laundry, 5 maybe. I know I need to wash the sheets today too. And then I do plan to go out and pick up a couple of things that we weren't able to get yesterday because the stores were closed. And then I think there's just one more thing that we need to get for a Christmas gift, but it's a gift certificate for a restaurant, and that restaurant is closed today, so I can't do that. But today's the day to go out there and run around because we're supposed to get more snow tomorrow. And even though there are a few very, very tiny flakes flying right now, the roads are all clear, and so yeah, today is the day. I'll just make sure to bundle up because it is cold out there. Did I mention that already? And then I do have some housework. I'm still working on cleaning up my office, but I did manage to make a dent in that, that's right, on Saturday. Oh, and I also do want to record that special episode about the new make-alongs for 2024. I'm going to see if I can squeeze that in too. So yeah, lots to do. I need to stay focused like today's colorway and affirmation suggests. Before I do all of that, of course, we have to do socks of the day. Today's socks are the Winter's Shadows socks. This was the day 25 skein from last year's Fiber Nymph Dye Works Winter Magical collection. And I cast them on December 27th last year and finished them in January. So speaking of plain vanilla socks, these are top down 64 stitch plain vanilla sock with a short row heel, and I had some leftovers from my Blue Jay socks that was part of a Fiber Nymph Dye Works Backyard Birdwatchers Club, and it was very similar to this color stripe, and so I used that for the heels. So nice bright colors, interrupting the more neutral shades of gray and green here. So there you go. I'm not even sure if I've worn these yet. I have a few socks that I tucked away for my winter and Christmas socks that I haven't worn, and I have a feeling this might be one of them. They looked awfully blocked when I pulled them out of the thing that I keep them in. So I have a feeling that they are going to be christened today. All right, I better get going, get on with what I need to do. So have yourselves a wonderful Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 20. We're gonna be in the 20s. Oh boy, that just hit me. Can you tell? Okay, see you then. Bye.